here's my Wild and Wolf Trimphone. Basically, this is a replica version of the original 1960s/1970s iconic British telephone, the Trimphone. And originally, the Trimphone was supplied by the GPO, and then later supplied by British Telecom. Although GPO and British Telecom are the same thing, it's just that the GPO were the predecessor to British Telecom, or BT as we would know it today. And the Trimphone actually has an acronym in its name, which stands for Tone Ringing Illuminator Model Phone. Because the original dial Trimphones had like this glass chemical filled tube which sat behind the dial back plate around the outside here, and it would glow up through the dial back plate, and it would glow bright green, so you could see it in the dark, and it would allow you to dial out without having to turn a light on. And it was actually known to be radioactive, like the chemical that was inside this glass tube. It was harmful or something. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It's just a myth that I've heard through the grapevine many times. Anyway, as you can see, it has the nice blue line cord to match, and it is push button, as you can see. Unfortunately, the dial here doesn't illuminate like it would on an original dial Trimphone, although the original GPO/BT push button Trimphones, they didn't illuminate either, so it's kind of authentic in that respect, although it did still carry the Trim name. But anyway, it's really well designed, this replica, like to look like an original Trimphone. I mean, as you can see, whoever's designed this replica really did pay attention to detail. Even the noise the switch hook makes when you lift the handset off the hook, it just sounds like an original Trimphone. And of course you get the clarity from the receiver and transmitter, because it's a modern phone. Of course it's push button touch tone with the star and hash there. The numbers are arranged in a dial type shape, a bit like the BT Genie phone. The original push button Trimphones, both the pulse and touch tone versions, would have been arranged in like a regular rectangular shape, but this has been shaped in a dial shape just to make it look a bit authentic. It's got a nice little metal finger stop there, which gives it that sort of icing on the cake look, which is nice, although to the trained eye like myself, you'd know that that was a styled and positioned Western Electric type dial finger stop. An original GPO Trimphone finger stop would have been about here, and it would have been shaped a little bit differently than that, but most people wouldn't actually realise that. So there's your switch hook, which also acts as a carrying handle, so you could carry the phone round, and the line cord is 4 meters on this, which, like I said, matches, so that's nice. It was classed as like a compact, lightweight phone, the Trimphone. Another thing that was unique about the Trimphone was it had an electronic ringer, which was like a warbling cricket sound. And back then, when this came out, the Trimphone came out in 1965, it was a very new thing to have an electronic ringer on a phone, because everything before that was just bells. And although I do like a bell ring, the Trimphone ringer is very iconic. However, on this replica one, it's not quite as shrill as the original Trimphone ringer, but it's still nice. One other thing I forgot to mention is on the number card here, which is also styled like an original number card for one of these phones. It also has last number redial there, which is interesting. So it has the ringer adjustment there from loud, medium, soft, and then of course off, just like an original Trimphone would. It's also got an adjustment here for the receiver volume, so if you're hard of hearing you can make it a bit louder. So even the bass is just styled exactly like an original Trimphone, where the ringer sits and the rubber feet, just the same really. Just is missing the markings an original one would have. The line cord and handset cord are modular, which is cool. So I'll show it you dialing out, and I'll ring it for you. There's the dial tone. Well, they're not answering. They do that sometimes. Anyway, I'll just demonstrate last number redial. There you go, it's ringing again. That line must be quite busy at this time. It's just the BBC Children in Need donation line. So anyway, I'll ring it for you. Call home.
Calling home.
As I said, it's not quite as shrill as the original, but it's a similar ringtone. It's on loud. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.